Hook, strong opening. Have you ever grabbed leftovers from the fridge, popped them in the microwave, and thought, this is a quick and healthy choice? What if I told you some of those reheated foods could silently harm your body, increasing your risk of cancer, digestive troubles, and even brain damage? Intro: What to expect. In this video, we'll reveal 5 common foods that health experts warn should never be reheated. These everyday foods may seem healthy, but when reheated, they can transform into toxic compounds that put your long-term health at risk. Stay with us till the end to learn not only which foods to avoid, but why, backed by real medical science, so you can make smarter, safer choices in your kitchen. And before we begin, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button to support this channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any future health tips. Also, if you like this video, comment the number 1 below. If not, comment 0. Your feedback helps me make better content for you. 1. Spinach, the nitrate danger. Spinach is often seen as one of the healthiest greens, packed with vitamins A, C, and K, iron, and powerful antioxidants. It's common in smoothies, salads, pastas, and soups. But reheating spinach, especially after it's been stored in the fridge, can quietly transform it into a health hazard. Here's why. Spinach contains naturally high levels of nitrates. On their own, nitrates are beneficial. They improve blood flow, lower blood pressure, and boost stamina. However, when spinach is cooked, stored, and then reheated, those nitrates can turn into nitrites and further into nitrosamines, which are potentially cancer-causing compounds. According to studies by the World Health Organization and National Cancer Institute, nitrosamines have been linked to cancers of the stomach and colon. Some research even suggests they may contribute to brain damage and cognitive decline over time. Older adults are especially vulnerable. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at detoxifying harmful compounds. What might be harmless when you're young can have a much greater impact later in life. Example: imagine making a big pot of spinach soup on Sunday, then microwaving a portion on Tuesday. Seems innocent, right? But that reheated spinach could now contain toxic nitrosamines, especially if it sat too long in the fridge. What to do instead? Eat spinach fresh or lightly cooked. If stored, try eating it cold, like in salads or chilled soups. If you must reheat, use low heat on a stove instead of the microwave, and avoid reheating it multiple times. Always refrigerate spinach-based dishes promptly and consume them within 1 to 2 days. Spinach is still a superfood, just treat it with care to keep it a friend, not a hidden threat. Still watching? Comment 1 if you're with me so far. Now let's move on to the next food. 2. Potatoes, the hidden starch problem. Potatoes, whether mashed, baked, or roasted, are a favorite comfort food around the world. But when they're cooked, cooled, and then reheated, they can also turn risky. Down arrow. I'll continue rewriting part 2 from here if you'd like. Potatoes are one of the world's favorite comfort foods, whether mashed, roasted, baked, or tossed into stews. But did you know that reheating cooked potatoes could quietly undermine your health? Here's what happens. When potatoes are cooked and then cooled, especially if left at room temperature for too long or even stored in the fridge for several days, their starches go through a process called retrogradation. This process converts the starches into what's known as resistant starch. Now, resistant starch isn't all bad. In fact, in moderation, it acts like a prebiotic. It supports healthy gut bacteria and may help regulate blood sugar, according to research in the Journal of Nutrition. But the trouble starts when those cooled potatoes are reheated, especially using high-heat methods like microwaving or when reheating is done unevenly. The primary concern isn't just about nutrition, it's about safety. Reheated potatoes can harbor Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism, a rare but serious illness. This risk is even greater when potatoes are wrapped in foil, then cooled slowly at room temperature before storage. The foil creates an oxygen-poor environment, which is perfect for these bacteria to thrive. Here's the alarming part. Even if the potatoes look fine and smell normal, the botulinum toxin can still be present. It's odorless, tasteless, and invisible, but highly dangerous. It can cause nausea, dizziness, and in rare cases, neurological damage. Older adults are particularly vulnerable. As we age, our immune systems weaken, and our bodies become less efficient at fighting off bacterial threats. At the same time, emerging research on the gut-brain axis shows how poor gut health can influence cognitive function. Chronic inflammation caused by bacterial toxins in the gut has been linked to a higher risk of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases, as noted in Frontiers in Neuroscience. Real-life example. You bake a tray of potatoes for dinner, wrap the extras in foil, and store them in the fridge. A couple of days later, you pop them in the microwave for a quick side dish. Simple, right? But that reheating, combined with the foil storage, could have allowed harmful bacteria to grow, silently impacting your long-term health. How to stay safe. Cook only what you plan to eat fresh. If storing leftovers, cool them quickly and store them in airtight containers, not foil. Refrigerate them right away and consume within 1 to 2 days. Reheat on the stove or oven to ensure even heating, and never reheat more than once. If potatoes have been sitting too long or smell off, throw them out. Potatoes are still a nutritious food, when prepared and stored properly. For older adults focused on preserving energy, memory, and overall vitality, these small kitchen changes can have a big impact on long-term health. 3. Reheated eggs, from superfood to silent threat. Eggs are a nutritional powerhouse, rich in high-quality protein, vitamins, and choline, which supports brain function. Scrambled, boiled, baked into casseroles, they're a dietary staple for good reason. But here's what most people don't realize: reheating cooked eggs, especially in the microwave or at high temperatures, can change their chemistry in ways that pose hidden health risks. When you first cook eggs, the proteins go through a process called denaturation, which makes them easier to digest. This is perfectly healthy. But when already cooked eggs are reheated, especially unevenly or with intense heat, things get problematic. There are 2 key concerns. Breakdown of sulfur compounds. This leads to a rubbery texture and an unpleasant sulfur-like odor. Oxidation of cholesterol. This is the real danger. Reheating, especially at high heat, can cause the cholesterol in egg yolks to oxidize into harmful compounds called oxysterols. According to research published in the Journal of Lipid Research, oxysterols are linked to chronic inflammation, artery damage, and an increased risk of heart disease. But it doesn't stop there. Inflammation caused by oxidized cholesterol can also affect the brain, contributing to memory loss, cognitive decline, and even dementia, as highlighted in Nature Reviews Neurology. Older adults are at higher risk because our ability to metabolize fats declines with age. Arteries become less flexible. The brain becomes more sensitive to inflammation. Real-life scenario. You boil a batch of eggs on Sunday, planning to eat them throughout the week. On Wednesday, you microwave one for a quick snack. What seems like a smart, high-protein choice could quietly expose you to oxidized cholesterol and inflammatory compounds. How to enjoy eggs safely. Eat them fresh when possible. If batch cooked, enjoy them cold in salads or sandwiches instead of reheating. If you must reheat, use gentle, even heat like a low stovetop setting. Never reheat eggs multiple times, and consume within a few days. If an egg smells off or has been stored too long, better safe than sorry, toss it. When handled properly, eggs remain one of the most beneficial foods in your diet. But small missteps, like how you reheat them, can quietly chip away at your health over time. Reheated chicken, a surprising source of inflammation. Chicken is a favorite in kitchens around the world, and for good reason. It's lean, packed with protein, budget-friendly, and incredibly versatile. Whether it's grilled, baked, or roasted, chicken is a staple for health-conscious families, fitness enthusiasts, and busy professionals alike. Many of us cook chicken in large batches and refrigerate the leftovers for quick meals throughout the week. It seems smart and efficient. But what most people don't realize is that reheating chicken, especially in the microwave or at high temperatures, can subtly alter its structure in harmful ways. Let's break it down. When chicken is first cooked, heat breaks down its proteins into forms that are easier for the body to digest. This is a normal, healthy transformation. However, when you reheat already cooked chicken, especially using uneven methods like microwaving or by exposing it to very high heat, those proteins undergo a second transformation. The result? The proteins become tougher, more rigid, and less bioavailable, meaning your body has to work harder to digest and absorb them. For younger individuals, this might go unnoticed. But as we age, our digestive enzyme levels and stomach acid naturally decrease, making it harder to digest foods that once posed no issue. The result may be bloating, discomfort, or sluggishness, symptoms that are easy to dismiss but may be linked to how the food was reheated. But the effects go beyond digestion. Studies in nutritional science have found that repeated heating of animal proteins can lead to the formation of harmful compounds, specifically advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These are substances formed when proteins and fats are exposed to high temperatures, especially more than once. Why does this matter? AGEs have been strongly linked to chronic low-grade inflammation, which is now recognized as a root cause of many major health concerns, including heart disease, insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, and other neurodegenerative conditions. Here's a relatable scenario. It's Sunday evening. You roast a batch of chicken breasts for the week. On Tuesday, you microwave one for lunch. It feels dry and slightly rubbery, but it's convenient, so you eat it. What you may not realize is that this texture change signals deeper chemical alterations, the formation of inflammatory compounds and degraded protein structure. Over time, repeating this pattern could place an added burden on your digestive system, your immune system, and even your nervous system. This is especially important for older adults already coping with inflammation-related issues like joint pain, high blood pressure, or brain fog. Chronic inflammation, even in small amounts, acts like a slow-burning fire inside the body, quietly draining energy, impairing memory, and impacting overall well-being. While cutting out reheated chicken won't cure all ailments, it is a simple, powerful way to reduce unnecessary stress on your body, allowing your system to focus on healing, balance, and longevity. What can you do instead? Here are a few practical tips to enjoy chicken safely and get the most from its nutritional value. Reheat gently. Use a stovetop or low-temperature oven to reheat chicken more evenly and with less structural damage. Avoid the microwave when possible, as it heats unevenly and encourages the formation of AGEs. Enjoy it cold. Add leftover chicken to salads, wraps, or grain bowls without reheating. Cook in smaller batches to reduce the need for long-term storage and reheating altogether. Store properly. Cool chicken quickly after cooking and refrigerate it in airtight containers. Consume within 1 to 2 days. These small changes can make a big impact, especially as the body becomes more sensitive to dietary stress with age. Remember, what you eat matters. But how you prepare it matters just as much. Chicken is still a healthy choice, but by being mindful of how it's handled after cooking, you can amplify its benefits and reduce potential risks. These subtle habits, how you reheat, how you store, how often you rely on leftovers, might seem minor. But over time, they can help preserve your energy, support digestion, sharpen cognition, and protect long-term health. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment, number 3, below to let me know you're still with me. Thank you for giving your time to learning how to care for your body, because small acts of attention today can lead to a healthier, stronger tomorrow. Know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 5. Mushrooms lose their balance when reheated. Mushrooms are a nutritional powerhouse beloved for their earthy flavor, satisfying texture, and impressive health benefits. Packed with antioxidants, fiber, B vitamins, and immune-supporting compounds like beta-glucans. They're a fantastic addition to everything from stir-fries and soups to omelets and side dishes. Whether you're sautéing cremini, grilling portobellos, or simmering shiitake, mushrooms bring a unique depth to meals while offering benefits for heart health, immunity, and even cancer prevention. But there's a lesser-known downside to this culinary favorite. Mushrooms are highly sensitive to reheating. And this sensitivity can affect not just their taste and texture but also how your body responds to them, potentially disrupting your internal chemistry in unexpected ways. Unlike most vegetables, mushrooms have a unique composition that includes complex proteins, enzymes, and delicate fats. When you cook them fresh, these components break down in a controlled way, releasing their flavors and making their nutrients more accessible to your body. However, when you reheat mushrooms, especially multiple times or using high-heat methods like microwaving, their structure undergoes further degradation. The proteins and enzymes break down into less digestible forms, which can lead to digestive discomfort, bloating, or a heavy, sluggish feeling after eating. This is particularly true for older adults whose digestive systems may already be less efficient due to age-related declines in enzyme production and gut motility. What might have been a minor inconvenience in your 20s or 30s can become a noticeable source of discomfort in your 50s or beyond. The concerns with reheated mushrooms extend beyond digestion, though, and touch on a deeper issue: oxidative stress. When mushrooms are improperly stored, for example, left in a plastic container where moisture accumulates or reheated unevenly, their proteins and fats can oxidize, forming compounds that contribute to cellular damage. Oxidative stress is a key player in aging and chronic disease, driving inflammation and increasing the risk of conditions like cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even neurodegenerative disorders. Studies have shown that oxidized compounds in food can exacerbate this stress, placing an additional burden on your body's antioxidant defenses. For seniors or anyone managing chronic health conditions, this added stress can manifest as fatigue, brain fog, or a weakened immune response. Let's consider a practical example. Suppose you've made a delicious mushroom risotto for dinner, rich with cremini and oyster mushrooms. It's a comforting, nutrient-packed meal, and you store the leftovers in the fridge. The next day, you reheat a portion in the microwave, but you notice the mushrooms have lost their tender, juicy quality. They're now chewy, slightly slimy, or have an off-putting, muted flavor. These sensory changes are more than just a culinary disappointment. They're a sign that the mushroom's proteins and fats have undergone chemical changes. The once beneficial nutrients have transformed into compounds that your body struggles to process, potentially contributing to inflammation or oxidative stress with every bite. The texture of reheated mushrooms offers another clue. Freshly cooked mushrooms are plump, flavorful, and satisfying. After reheating, they often become rubbery, watery, or overly soft, signaling a loss of structural integrity. This degradation doesn't just affect enjoyment. It reduces the nutritional value and increases the likelihood of digestive or systemic issues for older adults who may already struggle with bloating, gas, or irregular digestion. These subtle changes in food quality can compound existing challenges, making it harder to pinpoint the root cause of discomfort. To minimize these risks, handle mushrooms with extra care. If you have leftover cooked mushrooms, store them in a sealed glass container in the fridge to prevent moisture buildup, which can accelerate spoilage and oxidation. When reheating, opt for gentle methods like a low-heat stovetop or oven to preserve as much of the original structure as possible. Even better, consider enjoying leftover mushrooms cold, tossed into a salad with olive oil, lemon, and fresh herbs. They can be just as delicious without the risks of reheating. If you're cooking mushrooms, try preparing only what you'll eat in one sitting to avoid the need for storage altogether. The broader lesson here is that small dietary choices can have a cumulative impact on your health. Avoiding reheated mushrooms might seem like a trivial adjustment, but it's one less source of strain on your digestive and immune systems over time. These mindful choices can help you feel lighter, more energized, and better equipped to handle the challenges of aging. By paying attention to how you prepare and store sensitive foods like mushrooms, you're investing in your long-term vitality, one meal at a time. As we wrap up this video, I want to thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the surprising risks of reheating certain foods. Take a moment to reflect. What have you learned today that surprised you the most? Maybe it's the hidden dangers of reheating spinach, the bacterial risks in potatoes, or how something as simple as reheating eggs or chicken could impact your health over time. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life. Your thoughts inspire us to keep creating content that informs and empowers you. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to see you in the next video. All from Advice for the Elderly.